Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Folks, did you see it? Little Bobby D, Bobby the Numbnuts. Did you see him outside of the courthouse? Bob De Niro. I mean, could you possibly, if you're the Biden team, if you were going down the list of who are the worst people we could send in front of the courthouse for the Trump, Twinkies, Michael Cohen disaster abomination of a trial to represent the cause of democracy, Bob De Niro, little Bobby D. Did he have lifts on? 6-inch lifts? What was he wearing? You know, he wears like, what does he wear? Those lift shoes to appear taller? I got that. I got the trial. I got, is Soros losing his grip, folks? Big show for you today. Welcome back on Tuesday. 3-day weekend. Not really used to those, but we had a really good time, and we got to honor the fallen. It was Memorial Day. Super important. Folks, let's get right to the show. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like writing an important report and forgetting to hit the save button. Most of the time, you'll probably be fine, but what if one day your computer freezes or crashes and all your hard work is gone? Happened to my daughter just recently at college. Every time you connect to an unencrypted network, any hacker on the same network can gain access to your personal data. Doesn't take a lot of technical knowledge to hack someone. Your data is valuable. Hackers can make up to $1,000 per person selling personal info on the dark web. Yours. ExpressVPN creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so hackers can't steal your sensitive data. And best of all, it's easy to use. Just fire up the app, click one button to get protected. Works on all your devices so you can stay secure in the go. Bottom line, folks, I don't want anybody watching what I'm doing online because it's nobody's freaking business. Get yourself a VPN. Use the one I use, ExpressVPN. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/Bongino. That's expressvpn.com/Bongino. You can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/Bongino. Go today. Your privacy matters. All right, fellas. It is Tuesday. We had the day off yesterday, did a little best of on the radio. It was interesting. I got a bunch of calls from friends who are like, hey, man, great job on the radio. I said, cool. I'm not on the radio. That's a best of, but I really appreciate it. First, the most important thing, yesterday was Memorial Day. To everyone out there as a family member who served, to everyone who served, I understand it's not Veterans Day. I get that. It's Memorial Day. But most importantly, to the blessed souls of those who gave their lives and everything up for us so that we can live in a free, hopefully still free country after this election. My gosh, we love you. We honor you. And I just wanted to show you a picture of my personal hero. This is my uncle, PFC Gregory Ambrose. I'm showing you his picture because he's dead. He died, was killed in action March 15th, 1968, south of Thu Duc, Vietnam. If you want to read his story, it's on my Facebook. It's up on that, obviously on the wall. And this guy was a hero, man. Gregory Ambrose, shot in the back, saving his friends, taking on hostile fire in the front lines out there. It's my uncle. Look at that face. There's a real face of a real hero. God bless you, sir. And God bless everyone out there and the families who've sacrificed and have lost someone in combat. You know, we say it all the time, and I hate dopey cliches, and I'm glad everyone had a good time on Memorial Day. I certainly did, but we're allowed to have a good time because of folks like my Uncle Greg. So thank you. Speaking of which, my team, a quick weekend update for you on Memorial Day. My team working hard this week. Here's a little snapshot of, by the way, so that's Evita's husband, Michael. I did not realize, even though I've met him multiple times, he's like 6'7". I was totally, all right, I'm exaggerating slightly, but there is Michael. Then you see Evita, then you see Guy, and then you see the legend, Justin, who's the intern. We don't want to be, but he's the intern. So Justin's like 7 feet tall. And notice him and Michael are like the same height. This is them working hard. They all did Murph. Guy apparently got the best time. He's a CrossFit ass kicker. So good for him. I can't do any of that stuff. Evita's like, I do CrossFit. You do CrossFit? I said, I can't do CrossFit. I outweigh Evita by like 200 pounds. I can't do CrossFit. My joints can't take it. I'm sorry. I'm way too old. I put a picture up on Instagram. I highly recommend you don't check it out. But if you'd like, you go right ahead because not bad for 50, but I'm telling you, they're all show muscles. They don't actually do anything. I had a good time. I was out at the Stewart Sandbar this weekend on Sunday. I met so many nice people who came up and wanted to take pictures and say hello. I get out there a lot. I love it. So cool. Not much else this weekend. More important, we honored the fallen. But my team busting their butts while I was out on the boat with the orthodontist, Arvin. It was great. So let me get to this first. Folks, the Democrats are in a full-blown freak out over Joe Biden. How do you know that, Dan? I don't. I'm just reading the freaking headlines. Politico, literally. Dems in full-blown freak out over Biden. Justin, did you manipulate Photoshop that headline? He did not. This is the actual headline. How many times do I got to tell you? We are so ahead of the curve here. This guy is not going to be the nominee on one condition. So you don't go later, oh, he's a nominee, you got to run. There's one condition. The second he even opens the door to leaving, he's the only one who doesn't want to leave right now, him and his wife. Everyone else realizes this guy is a political hot potato. Nobody wants him. Nobody wants him around. Folks, they don't know what to do. Now, how do I know that they're freaking out too? I'm not talking about the people in the article. We know Democrats are freaking out because they're saying it to Politico. We get that. It's right there. I'm talking about the Biden team. The internal Jill Biden, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden team were the only people thinking he can win. Folks, they are going all in right now on the Trump trial today. Closing arguments today. We're expecting a verdict this week in the Twinkies Michael Cohen abomination Star Chamber trial up in New York. The Biden team, which had previously, follow me here, taken a hands-off approach to this. They did not want to look like, through Colangelo and others who used to work for the Biden DOJ, is now working with Twinkies. They didn't want to look like they had their fingers on it, the Biden team, because it just reeks of tyranny. So the Biden team had stayed relatively message disciplined, even though we know they're in it. I get it. Don't send me an email. What are you saying? Biden's not involved? No, I'm telling you the opposite. I'm saying, of course they're involved. Through Colangelo and others. They just stayed, the message discipline was pretty good. They didn't say too much about it, because they didn't want to look like they were doing what they were doing. Get it? Got it? Good. Moving on. So today they've changed their minds completely. 10:15, right before the show started, a.m. this morning on Tuesday, they sent a messaging team out in front of the courthouse. And why the hell they decided to pick the absolute craziest of Hollywood celebrities, who, by the way, Evita pointed out a great point. The guy shows up with like a full N95 respirator. Dude shows up with a Rona face diaper on. Like, how could you possibly screw this messaging up anymore? First, remind people the left are crazy. Then remind them Hollywood people only like Democrats because they're elitist rich people. And then bring the craziest guy, punch him in the face, lunatic, Bobby De Niro, who basically nobody likes anymore outside of like the far left, outside of his, long since has been career. He had a great career, no doubt. Not going to knock the guy's acting career. He had some great flicks. But let's be honest. Bobby D, not made a big hit in a long time. We haven't seen him. Now he's just busy with the screen. He goes up there and he starts screaming and yelling like a lunatic. Hecklers tear this guy to pieces. You want to talk about getting wrecked? This is hilarious. Check this out.
But this city is pretty accommodating. We make room for clowns. We have them all over the city. People who do crazy things in the street, we tolerate it. It's part of the city. It's part of the culture. But not a person like Trump who will eventually run the country. That does not work, and we all know that. Anyway, we make room for clowns, to each his own. But no one takes him or took him really seriously. They take him seriously now, of course.
Oh my gosh, the irony of little Bobby D with his lifts talking about clowns and how nobody takes him seriously. Donald Trump was the president of the United States. He's up on your homie, Joe Biden, by like 3 to 4 points nationally in double digits in many of the swing states. And you're sitting there having a panic attack on TV. By the way, later on, he started going at it with a bunch of street hecklers, which just made the whole thing look like a complete shit show. Just embarrassing. Why would the Biden team now take an active footprint in what's going on? He's apparently going to give a speech at the White House, Biden, about this too, because folks, he's jumped the shark. He knows now he can't win. Now he's running on, I'll take this guy out, even if I've got to be a tyrant to do it. He has nowhere else to go. I need you to understand that this is the Biden inside baseball team, realizing everything they ran on before, Bidenomics, all this other crap, the Inflation Production Act and everything else, all of that stuff is dead as a doornail. Let's run now going full tyrant. You understand what I'm telling you? This is an important schism that developed today between old Biden and new Biden. This is going to get worse now. They're now taking it head on. Yes, we're tyrants. You should vote for it. We're going to be the ones to stop this dictator, Donald Trump, by doing dictator stuff right now. I can't think of a worse message. Completely ate it this morning. So it just goes to show you the difference, by the way, between Biden and Trump. Biden can't get out there. He's got to send ridiculous surrogates out there. Bobby De Niro and this loser crew up there at 10:15 out there this morning in front of the courthouse. Judge Merchan closing arguments today. Nobody even knows the jury instructions, what he's going to give anymore. You got to remember, they've got to prove every crime beyond a reasonable doubt. They haven't even alleged one yet. They're going to get rescued by Merchan, I think. But here is the difference, you know? And I'm going to get to the Soros stuff later, I promise, in the headline. It's important. He is losing his grip, and we're starting to see a tide of the country change there. But I want to contrast first Biden this weekend, who's fallen asleep at a Memorial Day event in the background. Looks like he's picking his nose at one point. A guy who the snapshots and the sound bites cannot get any worse for. While Trump is out there, and he got a mixed reception at the Libertarian Convention. But that's not the point, folks. You know, I don't run cover for anybody. There's no reason for me to run cover for anyone. At least he went out there and had the balls to speak to a group of people. I like libertarians. I know they get some of them get a bad rap, but I think the libertarian position on a lot of issues is more in line with my thinking. So, you know, I don't worship politicians of any party, just like specific outcomes and ideas are important. But I applaud Trump for going out there. He went to the Libertarian Convention, and by the end of the convention, I think he changed a lot of hearts and minds. I want you to listen to this line at the end where he understands, showing you I'm right. He understands Biden's about to transition to full tyrant and get away from the other stuff. So Trump's decided he's going to counter that message with a freedom and liberty message and point out how Biden is, in fact, the tyrant. Check this out.
Last year, I've been indicted by the government on 91 different things, so if I wasn't a libertarian before, I sure as hell am a libertarian now. And unlike Joe Biden, I don't throw people in jail for disagreeing with me. I don't do that.
Folks, he needs tactics. This is pure tactics, okay? Tactics. That's what wins campaigns. To the Trump team that's decided to focus on this is a winner. This is a winning message. A lot of people feel aggrieved by the government. They feel screwed over. They're pissed off at the government. And it's not a racial thing. It's the underdog thing. This guy taking on the man was a message the liberals had back in the hippie 60s. We're going to go take on him. Who's the man? I don't know. No one can even define who the man was. They thought it was the government. That's Trump's message now. That's our message now. And I got to believe a lot of conservatarians like me who have some conservative positions but libertarian positions heard that and they thought, listen, this is our best choice right now. Some people, libertarians, just don't want anything to do with it. That's fine. You do what you want to do. I mean, I'm not telling you who to vote for. I tell you who I vote for and you do what you want. But the contrasts here are getting worse for Biden. How they think De Niro is a good optic for them. Bobby De Niro in front of a courthouse in a Star Chamber trial. It's just obscene. While Trump's out there speaking to people in the South Bronx, the Libertarian Convention, he can't do this. Here he is this weekend, Biden. He's at an event. And is this guy even real? He's talking about the African diaspora. He starts talking about what Barack Obama, what is he talking about? This guy, the brain is turned into total mush. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to get any better. The tyranny angle is the only thing he's got. Check this out.
You know, Jill and I are honored to have you here and representing, including many members of the African diaspora. One just left, Barack.
Folks, no one even knows what to do. This guy is so cringe. Their message is being lost. They don't know what to do. They need to go back to economic basics. I'm not here to give the Democrats advice. I'm just telling you they've so divorced themselves from what's supposed to be their core constituency. It's supposed to drive them through the election. Remember, you need a base plus a few more, right? Their base is leaving them. Forget the few more. You may have seen this and went viral this weekend, but this is James Carville. He's been a pretty prominent Democrat activist and advisor, focus group type guy for years. But he's had his finger on the pulse of the Democrat Party for a long time. He acknowledged this week their messaging is total shit. They've divorced themselves completely from this everyday messaging to stuff, honestly, only a fringe of people care about. Can we give little boys sex changes at 9 and 10 years old? Can we tax the rich into oblivion? Green New Deal shit, Chargers, all of them. Nobody cares about this stuff. People care about their wallets. They're suffering. They can't even buy McDonald's anymore. Did you see that receipt that went viral from a McDonald's thing? Carville's trying to tell these guys, get your ass together. They can't. It's too late. I promise you it's too late. All we've got to do right now, all we've got to do is stay on the track and not screw this thing up. Check this out.
And we keep wondering why these young people aren't coming home to the Democrats, or why blacks are not coming home to the Democrats. Because Democratic messaging is full of shit. That's why.
Folks, I'm going to tell you something. Listen, I'm asking you to really do a deep dive on what I'm telling you now and start doing your own homework too as well, in addition to the show, because I have an hour with you. Biden's not going to be the nominee. They are desperately trying to talk this guy now through media people into leaving without confronting him directly. Here's what's going on. You ready? They can't say directly what they want to say. When I say they, I mean Clinton's and Obama type people. Those are the two big power brokers right now in the Democrat Party. I'll throw one more in there. The squad movement, the Cori Bushes, the AOCs. There's a lot. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a lot of energy with them too. So throw them in too. You've got Clinton's, you've got Obama acolytes, and you've basically got the squad types. Those are the 3 or 2.5 major power brokers, right? With Obama and Clinton holding a large portion of the money in the activist space, okay? None of them want to say directly Biden needs to get out. Have you heard AOC say it? Nope. Have you heard Clinton say it? Nope. They're going to a fundraiser for him. Have you heard Barack say it? Obama, President Obama? No, you've not. They didn't say, they won't say it. But their surrogates are. David Axelrod came out this week just panning a Biden on his economic stuff. He's the Obama guy. They're the mouthpieces, right? Van Jones, Obama mouthpiece. Carville, total Clinton mouthpiece. You've got these progressives on the left starting to hint, leak to Politico. You saw the headline. Hey, this guy's got to get out. This guy is not going to be the nominee. The final step, again, it's right there. I'm just trying to tell you the Republicans need to start getting ready for someone different. Who is it going to be? Probably Kamala Harris. They're in an identity politics trap right now. Biden openly said, this is how I'm going to make my decision for vice president on identity politics. It's not me saying it. He said it. Just go look. It's not my fault. And what are they going to do? Back away from Kamala Harris? It's not going to be Michelle Obama. There's no one coming in to save them, man. I'm going to take a break, but I want to play this clip first. This is Fox's Jackie Heinrich on exactly how even pollsters are starting to say now they better start making a move quick, because this guy, mathematically at this point, his chances of winning are going, watch this.
Polling guru Nate Silver put it pretty starkly this week, saying if Biden is trailing by 3 points in August, he'll be a big underdog. And if it's 5 or 6 points, it's unsalvageable. And Biden at that point should consider stepping aside, Brad.
Again, folks, it isn't me. I hate to keep saying that. I'm just trying to make the point. This is not some bizarre conspiracy theory. Republicans who are in the movement right now better start preparing for other people, because I don't see this guy being the nominee. I just don't. Nothing's going to get any better. He keeps saying stupid things. He gets lost on stage. He can't give a speech anymore. Now he's got the anchor of Hunter Biden's case possibly being adjudicated right before the election. None of this is getting any better, brothers and sisters. And that's why he is all in right now, Biden, on going full timer. Hey, I don't even care if you know I'm going to put Trump in jail with my DA up there in New York. I'm going to keep the dictator, air quotes, away from you. That's their new line of attack. I want to warn you too. You can expect more of this coming forward. Trump is going to be Hitler. They're actually saying it right now directly. I'll show you what I mean coming up next. Hey, American financing. Everything's still really expensive. By the time you pay all the monthly bills, there's not much left. So you end up swiping your credit card, which traps you in high interest credit card debt. If you're a homeowner, American financing can help you. Interest rates have dropped into the 5s. You heard that right, into the 5s, much lower than your credit card interest rate. American financing is saving customers an average of $854 a month by using the cash in their home to pay off high interest debt. That's $10,000 a year. Make the free 10-minute call to see how much you could save. They never charge any upfront fees. And if you start today, you may be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. Call American Financing at 888-994-7660. That's 888-994-7660, or visit AmericanFinancing.net. It's .net, AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. APR for rates in the 5 starts at 6.799% for well-qualified borrowers. Call 800-994-7660 for details about credit costs and terms. Thanks, American Financing. We appreciate it. So here's Dan Goldman. Dan Goldman obviously is a lunatic. He is a far-left congressman. No one knows how he got that job up there. Dan Goldman's done it through connections and all this other stuff. The guy was one of the PP tape hoaxers, total life loser in a zero. They're going all in on this. They're trying to contrast now. They were trying to give an economic message before on Bidenomics that's not working and fell flat. Now they're going to go in on Trump's Hitler, and Biden's the only one to stop it, even if we have to use and throw the Constitution in the garbage, extra constitutional means and star chambers to get him. This is going to be their new message. I'm telling you, listen to this show, mark the date. Check this out.
He is paving the way to become a Vladimir Putin or to become an Adolf Hitler or a Kim Jong-un. That's what he wants to be. And all of this is in the lead up to paving the way for him to win this election and then to take over this country and literally to eliminate the democracy that we know.
You only have to listen to them. Gauge the success of what your political tactics and how much ground they're gaining in this political trench warfare, right? Gauge them by the response of your opponents. All you've got to do is watch what they do. When they think something you're doing is a waste of time, they sit back and they let you fall in the ditch. When the Democrats are freaked out about something, you can tell. Just watch their reaction. It is not an accident that Goldman has taken this trajectory into Trump is Hitler again. It's the only thing. They tried to get away from it for a little while. I shouldn't say get away from it. That's going to come off the wrong way, like they were taking a high road. That's not it. There's a limited amount of time for messaging. They tried this whole Bidenomics thing. You can go listen to the speeches, folks. Go back and listen. Go to C-SPAN or wherever he's out. Watch the Biden speeches. You'll see them evolve. First, it was all January 6th all the time. And then when they did okay in the midterms, they doubled down. And then Biden's polls took a hit for the worse after the Mar-a-Lago raid. This is the trajectory of what happened. You can watch yourself. Then they realized that, oh, shit, this Star Chamber stuff, raids, search warrants, FBI attacks, Twinkies case, this really isn't working. Let's transition to the economy. Biden kept going down. So now they're going right back again to, look, we're going to put the dictator in jail before he turns the country into a hellscape. You know, it's so fascinating to watch. I was, not to get off topic, but I was watching History Channel yesterday. Was home for a little bit, kind of chilling out after a busy Sunday. So yesterday I'm watching The World at War. So I've seen it a couple times. It's a really great show. And, you know, you watch the rise of Lenin and Stalin and Hitler, and you've almost got to laugh at these morons on the left. Everything the left is doing and recommending is the mark of an authoritarian state. Everything. Ignoring court rulings, the student loan thing, the theft of private market, free market decision-making by intruding government into people's lives, the takeover of healthcare systems and various government bureaucracies. And then you've got Trump, who did the exact opposite. All you've got to do is read a history book to realize the actual tyrants are the people on the left, folks. They're not us. And we better wake up. I told you they were going to weaponize. I told you the Democrats were going to continue to weaponize the process. And I need you to understand that the only way we're going to fight back and win is not to sit here and try to teach moral lessons to these people. They tried to kick Trump off the ballot. There's going to be a verdict this week in a trial in New York with a fake crime. They're trying them in Georgia, in D.C., on fabricated, made-up nonsense. You're not going to write op-eds in the Washington Post. You have no idea how many people, the Dispatch crowd, some people in National Review and others, not all of them, but they really think we're going to moralize the left into bringing the country back to the constitutional republic. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. The Mar-a-Lago search warrant moment last week, so I got some sound in a minute from Garland, should be a dividing line for all of us. Anyone who tried to defend this thing is not on the side of us, the movement, trying to get the freedom train back to the station. Anyone. I'll show you what I mean, too. People just don't get this. I told you in Ohio, right? This story is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. In the state of Ohio, the dumbass Democrats scheduled the convention after the ballot deadline in Ohio. You understand what that means? Biden is not going to be the official nominee of the party by the time the Ohio ballot deadline is up and the nominee goes on the ballot. You're like, how did they miss that? The answer is because they're morons. I don't know what to tell you. It's no one's fault but the Democrats. Joe Biden does not belong on the ballot in Ohio because the Democrats can't follow basic rules. If they can't follow basic rules, how do you expect them to govern? Who's going to save them? Again, not the Republicans. Don't throw them under the bus. The Republicans in the state legislature in Ohio are like, screw this guy. Biden didn't make it on the ballot on time. That's not our problem. The governor there, DeWine, wants a special session. AP, special session for ensuring Biden makes Ohio's fall ballot. Could take several days. Why are we doing this? Why are we saving these people from themselves? If they want to screw this up and they're too stupid to follow the law, even though they're in government. So just to be clear, the Democrat message in Ohio is let us manage your health care, your kids' schools, and let us dictate how the economy moves forward. But by the way, we can't even file a ballot deadline and schedule our dates in advance of the Ohio ballot. That's not our problem. Why are we saving these idiots? I want you to watch this video. This is Democrat super lawyer Mark Elias, and believe me, that's not a compliment. This is the PP tape, dude. This is the whole Spygate guy. Guy was knee deep in all of this whole scandal. This guy is one of the worst human beings in the country. He's probably one of the 10 most destructive people to liberty and freedom in the whole country. Gauge the success of what you're doing by the response of your political opponents. Watch how freaked out Elias is about the Democrats being too dumb to meet the ballot deadline in Ohio and try to blame Republicans for trying to steal elections. That's hilarious. Check this out.
Here you have a Republican legislature in Ohio that is throwing up unnecessary roadblocks simply to make it harder for the Biden campaign to have its convention when it's otherwise scheduled. It is another, as you say, example of the erosion of democracy.
These people are intolerable. They are trying to kick Trump off the ballot in multiple states for fake crimes they made up. They just fabricated out of thin air using a 14th Amendment provision that has absolutely nothing to do with the presidency at all. And because his moron party can't even read the law and make a ballot deadline, we're the ones trying to steal democracy. This is the dipsy-do flipperoo. They accuse you of what they're doing to distract you. And it's also an example of now you know this is successful, holding the Democrats. They say no one's above the law. Well, no one is in Ohio. This guy should not be on the ballot, folks. I'm sorry. Anyone out there, let's take the high road and show them an example. An example of what? How we can rescue the morons in your party? Too bad. Joe Biden can run as a write-in in Ohio. Thank you. No thanks. And don't surrender on this MAL Mar-a-Lago story, by the way. Merrick Garland, again, is freaking out. Measure the damage of this story by the freak out on their side. You'll see what I mean coming up next. Folks, I'm sleeping better, feeling better lately thanks to my new Helix mattress. Everyone in the family loves theirs. They all have them. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite collections. The Helix Plus is a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and the Helix Kid mattress is designed for growing bodies. Take the Helix Sleep Quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. And your personalized mattress is shipped straight to your door free of charge. Helix offers a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new Helix mattress. Every Helix mattress is a hybrid design, combining individually wrapped steel coils on the base with premium foam layers on top. It's a perfect combination of comfort and support. Not only is the mattress the best I've slept on, but the setup was fast and easy. Helix, Helix, is offering up to 30% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go today. I sleep on one. Love it. HelixSleep.com/Dan. That's HelixSleep.com/Dan. It's the best offer yet, and it won't last long with Helix. Better sleep starts tonight. With Father's Day right around the corner, what do you give to the man who has everything? You give him an experience he'll never forget. Give him Omaha Steaks. The Father's Day experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to put a smile on the big guy's face this summer with hand-selected gift packages starting at just $89. Go to omahasteaks.com Use promo code Bongino at checkout for an additional discount when you shop gourmet gift packages for Father's Day. With Omaha Steaks, the possibilities are endless. Endless flavor, endless variety, and endless value. Truly, they perfected more than just steak, and your dad's guaranteed to love every bite. Pick from premium proteins like juicy pork chops, air-chilled chicken, and beefy burgers, all delicious. Go to omahasteaks.com, use promo code Bongino to get an exclusive savings. Shop for unforgettable gifts that are guaranteed to make Dad's Day. Because if there's one thing Omaha Steaks knows, it's dads want steak. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code Bongino at checkout to save on exclusive packages starting at just $89. Thanks, Omaha Steaks. Back to the show. Always gauge the response by what the enemy's doing. So this Mar-a-Lago story has gotten even crazier. The nutbags on the left, of course, love the idea that for some bizarre reason, the FBI decided to use the standard or whatever and bring weapons into Mar-a-Lago totally unnecessarily. No one still has answered the question on the left. If that's the case and we want to serve a search warrant at the White House, why would we not be allowed to carry guns in here? The answer is you wouldn't be because it's a secure facility and the Secret Service would say it's unnecessary. Kind of sounds like the Mar-a-Lago thing, right? Here's Merrick Garland, our Attorney General in name only, desperate to spin this story. I want you to notice here. Listen to what he says about the guns, the use of force authorization, which standard, whatever they call standard procedure. They know they messed up. They know they messed up. And I want you to watch Garland, who never gets emotional, try to spin this thing as the inclusion of the standard use of force thing is the limits on the use of force. What? How does that even make sense? Here, watch this.
I got most of us got a solicitation email this morning from the former President of the United States saying that the Justice Department had authorization to kill him during the Mar-a-Lago raid. First, can you give us some clarification on that particular point that he's making and whether or not deadly force is authorized in other interventions, including the search of Mr. Biden's residence and office? And the second question is,
Can I do one at a time? Okay. On that one, that allegation is false, and it is extremely dangerous. The document that is being referred to in the allegation is the Justice Department standard policy limiting the use of force. As the FBI advises, it is part of the standard operations plan for searches, and in fact, it was even used in the consensual search of President Biden's home.
So just to be clear, why would you need to include a document limiting the use of force at the Mar-a-Lago raid if there wasn't use of force authorized at the... I'm not telling you they went in there to kill Donald Trump. It was not an assassination plot. That's not what happened. I'm making a simple point that Garland still can't answer. Why did you even have to introduce this paperwork about limiting the use of force if use of force was even an issue? It shouldn't have been an issue. And then he brings up the consensual search of Biden's. Okay, so Biden, who you insist was cooperating, gets the benefit of a consensual search where, yeah, of course use of force isn't going to be an issue because everybody's buddy-buddy and they can work it out in advance. Trump doesn't get any of that, even though he was cooperating with the FBI. They do an unexpected raid, creating, albeit small, the chance of some use of force thing that had to be lined out in the document about what happens if the Secret Service engages with them. In other words, they have to interact. Folks, this is insanity. How can you defend this? This is totally freaking bananas. There was no need for the paperwork because it should have never happened. I don't even know how else to describe. Is this hard for people to get? It's like the FBI tomorrow raids Tim Scott's house because they find out he could be a vice presidential pick on a false charge. And they got them down on the floor at gunpoint, and people are questioning the paperwork. That's not what this is about. Why was it even necessary to go in there with a use of force disclaimer at all? How hard is this? How hard is this? And the great Julie Kelly put up a tweet this weekend. Again, to the former feds and people defending this lethal force, whatever, standard operating procedure. The FBI, it says, she notes, lied about why they needed to be armed. A dumbbell and a meat cleaver? So apparently there was like a workout room and some kitchen equipment. And I guess they thought this was some life-threatening situation for the FBI. Come on, man. You engaged in an unprecedented raid never done in American history. There was no need to be armed at all. This could have been done entirely consensually, just like you did it for your homie Biden. And your excuses, there's a kitchen on the premises. There's a kitchen at the White House, too. What if the FBI wanted to serve a search warrant there? They can never answer these questions because they would expose themselves for who they are. All right, I'm going to get to the Soros thing coming up. I promise I'm not unnecessarily teasing. I just want to leave some time. A couple things I want to get to first. Folks, these guys are in real trouble, and you're going to see them again continue to flail. Trump is Hitler, Trump is Stalin. You're going to see all this crap because they don't really have anywhere else to go. The finger stick issues that impact elections, the ones that kind of stick you every single day and drive you crazy enough to kind of change your behavior. I don't like these finger sticks. I'm going to put a Dexcom meter on my arm or whatever it is. These finger stick issues are piling up for them. They're things that are starting to get in people's way and starting to really bother people. And one of them is this DEI stuff. Folks, I don't care what your intentions were. I don't care. All I care about is results. I've said that over and over with politicians. Everyone right now is being affected by this. Carville talked about it in the beginning of the show. If the Democrats' message going forward is going to be to continue to rely exclusively on quotas, race, transgenderism, sexual orientation, skin color, all this stuff, identity politics going forward, they're going to finger stick America into changing parties en masse. They're tired of this stuff. I can't imagine a more destructive story than this one that popped this weekend in the Washington Free Beacon. They're noting how racial preferences in a medical school have persisted. That now up to, look at the subtext here, the subheadline, I'm sorry. Up to half of the UCLA medical students now fail basic tests of medical competence. Is this on Bongino.com? Thank you, Avita. Avita says it's on Bongino.com. Whistleblowers say affirmative action, which is illegal in California, is to blame. Folks, I don't care what your intentions are. The results matter. People are going to die. The left is marrying themselves to this stuff, not realizing they're alienating everyone in the process, including minority Americans who are tired of this stuff too. Just look at the results. Donald Trump's getting record numbers of minority Americans to vote for him. The great irony is you think you're appealing to minority voters by telling them what they can't do, while Donald Trump is busy telling them what they can. Focus, inflation's killing them too. Inflation's killing them that they're redefining the word. Now, Axios got beat up for this article about the changing definition of inflation, but I'm far from defending Axios. But I didn't take it that way. Here, let me just put up the piece first. Axios has this inflation reality check piece. Inflation is such a finger stick issue that's going to destroy the Democrat Party if this continues, that they're starting to say now the meaning of the word inflation has changed. It used to mean rising prices. It now means high prices. A lot of folks beat up Axios on this, saying like, oh, look, they're doing a dictionary game, changing the deficit. I don't think that's what they're doing here. I think what they're doing is they're trying to, I don't want to explain this wrong. T.O. I think this is more of a warning to the Democrats. I don't think they're trying to help anyone here other than a warning to the Dems that when Joe Biden goes out and says, hey, inflation is coming down, the Axios is saying consumers and voters don't see that. They associate inflation with high prices. Now, prices may not be going up as much since Biden took office and they're up 19% overall, but they're not coming down. So when they hear inflation's coming down, voters are like, well, the prices aren't, you're full of shit. So they got beat up a little bit for this, but I think this is more of kind of like a wake-up call Carville message to the Democrats that voters don't care if your inflation's coming down. You better do something about the damn prices. This is how you know things are bad, folks. Axios is like to the left of Lenin. For them to be saying, hey, we got a problem, we got a problem. Now they've had to resort to doing explainers on even MSNBC about inflation. This is a point I've been making forever. You're never wasting your time here, I promise. I love economics. How long have I been telling you all in the chat, right? How long have I been saying? It is not about the rate of change of prices. It's about the level. Biden's inflation in the beginning, the prices have never come down. Even Austin Goolsbee and Stephanie Rule, two left-wingers, They went on MSNBC trying to explain exactly this. This is a nudge to the Democrats. You better get your messaging right on this and do something about prices and cut the bullshit. Check this out.
We need an economic explainer. People are confused, they're exhausted, but they're also doing quite well. So I want to start with prices. They've been an issue for everyone. What is your take when you hear about big consumer brands actually cutting prices?
Good, but you've had inflation that got way too high in the U.S. and in other countries around the world. Incomes didn't keep up with that. Now inflation slowed in 2023, actually quite a lot. Inflation came down almost as much as it's ever come down.
You see how these two things are completely different, and the Democrats are starting to realize that the takeaway from this is this problem is not fixable, folks, for them by November. It's not. There's simply no way the 19% price increase since Biden took office is going to correct itself by the November election, and the Democrats are gotten a problem. Now tie it into the show. Everything fits on each other, is layered on top of each other for a reason. You see why they're making the transition now back to January 6th, fascism, Trump's Hitler. You see why? They realize they can't fix this. This inflation problem is a tick already burrowed in. It's not coming back. It's made a way into your circulatory system. There's no way to get it out. Just follow the signs everywhere. Look at this town hall article. Inflation Reduction Act's dirty little secret. Remember they were supposed to get a hold of price controls of Medicare costs? Yeah, well, this year's premiums increased by 21% on average. Nothing they're doing is working. Nothing. They're supposed to be the Democrats, the party of Medicare and entitlements. Nothing they're doing is working. Nothing. Here's one of the craziest commentators you're ever going to see on the left, Molly Jong-Fast, who is an absolute lunatic, right? Here she is on a left-wing network saying the same thing. This inflation thing is a dog. Basically, the Bidenomics thing is a dog. They're in real trouble. Take a look.
So how much of this is Trump amnesia, where people have deluded themselves so the economy was better than actually it was when Trump was in office? And how much of this is simply inflation, which just angers people? Right. And honestly, there's not much a president can do about it.
Well, people hate inflation, and the idea that something you bought is now, significantly higher is just
it's infuriating.
Voters hate that.
You hear the vocal fry? Voters hate that. Oh, I hate vocal fries so much. If you do that, just stop. Please stop. Vocal fry's the worst. They said that started with like Kim Kardashian or something. I don't really know, but just stop the vocal fry. She's not wrong, man. You are going to see a transition from this point forward where they were all in on Trump as Hitler, and we need to do anything to stop him. Having said that, I promised you at the beginning of the show a little segment. We're going to be doing these closer to the election. Folks, is it bad enough yet? I don't know. I ask this question often. As the voting environment with street crime, the economy, the healthcare system, the chaos, the overregulation, has it gotten bad enough yet that people's voting patterns are going to change en masse like they did during the Reagan years when he won 49 states? We're clearly not there yet. Is it bad enough yet? One day I think we'll say yes, but we're certainly getting there right now. We are getting there. No, I'm looking at nope. Is it, wait, who just said yes in the chat? Killian GW? Is that, did you make a mistake there? It's not bad. It's getting there. How do I know that? Folks, the George Soros prosecutors have had a successful almost 10-year run now where they basically destroyed public safety in American cities all over the country. New York, San Francisco, Portland, Oregon. You've seen these places get taken over by far left funder George Soros, who funds these DA races. And the reason he does this is street chaos. The Democrats have always wanted street chaos. Chaos breeds a desire to return to normalcy. Nobody likes chaos. And when enough chaos breaks out where the system seems to fall apart, lefties like Soros are hoping that you'll crave, lust, and salivate for government to come and make everything nice again. This has always been, I call it my Walking Dead theory, where in the zombie apocalypse, they all walk into the prison to escape the zombies, and they love it. Oh, that's what liberals do. They voluntarily insert themselves into a prison to escape what's on the outside. But folks, the Soros grip is starting to slowly collapse. How even left-wing cities are starting to realize, yep, it's bad enough. Daily Caller has an interesting piece. Soros' empire empire's grip on America's legal system might be loosening. This piece is great. He talks about how the Portland, Oregon race that happened this week, how you see in San Francisco with Chesa Boudin, St. Louis with Kim Gardner and others, that there's an opening here that Soros may have created. And it shows one thing, that even the left-wingers are starting to realize that left-wing politics is cannibalistic and destroys the left wing, because these are left-wing cities where people are being hurt, robbed, mugged, raped, and killed. And they're starting to realize that we can't continue to vote for this. Does this mean Trump's going to win 39, 40 states? It'd be nice. I doubt it personally, but I think we'll win. But I don't think that many states. But how do I know that these guys are in real trouble? Always measure, again, your effectiveness by your opponent's response. We have successfully taken on the Soros empire's funding of these left-wing DAs and the street chaos to the point now where if you mention Soros like I do today, the left wing immediately comes out and says what? Well, that's definitely anti-Semitism, because they don't have anywhere else to go. Why? It doesn't matter. They just make it up. That's not really what they just say it. But that's how you know we're having an impact. They'll throw anything at the wall to get you to stop talking about this. Washington Times embattled Soros-linked DAs leaving office amid high crime and complaints. They talk about what happened with Kim Gardner in St. Louis, Andrew Warren, Hillsborough state attorney, removed by Governor DeSantis, Marilyn Mosby, who's in a world of trouble up there in Baltimore. She's gone, but these people are in real trouble. Chesa Boudin, you see in the San Francisco Chronicle, why I'm not running for office in 2024. Folks, the worst thing and the biggest problem the left has are themselves. The best thing we have going for us is our ideas. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if they were proud of what they were doing, they wouldn't be emulating Snake Plissken and trying to escape from New York and escape from LA. These cities are emptying out because they've done it to themselves. Now, we don't want them in our states. I just want to make that clear. But we're on the right ideological side. If there's a moral arc of history, you're on the right side of it. Hey, this is a story I had to follow up on because it's really important. A while back, this broke, and I warned you about this trap. There's this trap out there where our faith in government is diminished so much that anything that's said ever, you and I have a tendency, obviously, to throw it right in the garbage because it came from the government. We don't trust them. And a healthy amount of skepticism is always good. But we have a real problem when the government becomes so awful where we are now and so many people are ready to give up on it that basically anything that's said by anyone we throw in the trash instead of looking at the facts in front of us. Do you remember this space weapon story? It came out, everybody freaked out. Like, oh my gosh, they've got a Death Star. The Russians were all going to die. You remember the Death Star space nuke story? And I said, listen, apply the Bongino rule. Everybody chill. Let's let the facts come out. Don't throw the story out. It may be true, but don't jump on the Russian Death Star story either and panic because it appears they may be using this as a message vehicle to get some more Ukraine money. Well, it turned out there may be an element of truth to this story. Now, this is ABC, so take this all with a grain of salt. But the Russian space weapon story, there are some now facts to back it up that at least elements of this may be true. Check this out.
This video from Russia's military appearing to show that launch. While there's no indication that Russia plans on attacking other satellites, and it is not the first time Russia has done this, when asked if the Russian counter-space weapon posed a threat to U.S. satellites, a Pentagon spokesman said it's a counter-space weapon in the same orbit as a U.S. government satellite. The deputy U.S. ambassador to the UN is calling this launch troubling. David?
Troubling indeed. You'll continue to track it for us, Martha. Thank you.
Now, again, it's ABC. I understand. And I'm urging you all with a note of severe caution to never take anything at face value. Be a skeptic. However, don't be a skeptic that ignores facts either. Okay, sometimes if this stuff may be real, and what I don't want is people who are, let's say, ideological opponents to the United States, in other words, foreign adversaries, to take advantage of skepticism and get us to ignore the obvious. Just for a second, I know it's ABC. Throw that out the window and pretend that was an actual reputable news organization. It's a story that should have us not panicking. Panic kills, but it's a little nerve-wracking that the Russians have some ability to kind of if we knocked out our satellites, we'd be in a world of trouble. Now, I showed you ABC. I'll show you the Wall Street Journal. They tend to lean a little bit right, but they can go left on some issues. Vindicating Mike Turner on space nukes. New details show the House Intel chair was right to raise alarms about Russia's prototype anti-satellite weapon. I'm just saying, foreign adversaries of the United States, if they are, and if they do have some plot to say potentially take out or gain leverage over our satellites, which would black out a lot of us and cause us some real problems, I'm just telling you, they will probably do their best to make sure that, people throw water on it and to bury the story so they can continue to do it. We don't cover it. And I wanted to add one more thing about this, so you don't just completely throw this story in the trash. That Obama movie they put out on Netflix, was it Leave the World Behind? Does anybody find that odd that this is Obama's first project? That the guy was the president, so he knows things you and I don't know. And he was apparently passionate about this project, reached out to the writer of the book. They had him and Michelle and their production company. They had to do this project. What was the story about? It was basically about our internet getting knocked out, you assume, by a foreign adversary. And what happened? That's it, right? Yeah, leave the world behind. Thanks, Keith. Again, I don't trust Obama as far as I can throw him, and that's not very far. But you don't find it a little strange that he saw the movie realistic enough and would appeal enough that he put his own money and his production company behind it? Be careful about this stuff. They knock out our satellites, we'd be in real trouble. All right, this is more of a personal story at the end. I don't know why it's about you. No, it's not about me. But I was running for office a long time ago up in the state of Maryland. I'm running for Senate. I'm at this event. There's like some black and white thing. And me, black and white thing. I didn't even own a tuxedo back then. I probably had a red one or whatever. Probably didn't even fit because I never went for the measure. I just tell them over the phone or whatever. So I'm at this thing. I'm the U.S. Senate nominee. And I run into this guy. I think he's passed. This guy, Chuck Ecker, right? He was the Howard County executive for a while. That's a blue county, but he was a Republican. But this guy, he understood politics better than anyone. And I sat down with him for a minute. We're chatting. And I said to him, Chuck, with the government, it's always expanding. Even at the local level, they got their tentacles and everything. I said, it's just unbelievable that they don't just kind of limit their own power and realize this is so destructive. And I was bringing up the example of how they were harming business in Maryland. You get these local government bureaucrats a lot. They make it so difficult to do business in their towns that the towns wind up losing money, and yet the local government bureaucrat still gets paid. And you're like, this would never happen in a normal business. And Chuck Ecker said something to me I'll never forget. I brought it up on my show a couple times. He said, Dan, government grows bigger and bureaucracies don't ever shrink their own power because there's no power in yes. And I said, holy Moses, this guy is smart. There's no power in yes. There is only government power in telling people no. Why is that? Because if you tell people no, they've got to get to yes. And how do they get you to yes? They lobby you. They give you campaign donations. They give you a pat on the back and tell you how, oh, you're so wonderful. Hey, can you pass my certificate of occupancy? Hey, can you permit us for this? Can you permit us for that? There is no power in yes. There's only power in no. So why is this a personal story? I like going to Morgan Wallen concerts. Turns out the Nashville Council, Morgan Wallen's putting a bar up down there near Broadway. I don't know if you heard about this. He wants to put a sign up on some Morgan Wallen sign or some neon sign on his bar. The Nashville Council, who must be full of liberals, apparently because they don't like this guy, they don't like the fact that, is he not, I don't know his politics. I never asked him. We're not friends. However, they don't like citing his harmful actions, and they're talking about that old cancel stuff a while ago for a sign. This is what I'm trying to tell you, man. This is why you limit government everywhere. Locally, state-wise, city-wise, federally, because once you give these people power, they will never give it up. This guy is going to bring a fortune to downtown Broadway with this new bar where people are going to spend money, they're going to pay taxes, they're going to fill up hotel rooms, they're going to buy food, they're going to take Ubers, they're going to hire security companies, they're going to hire bands, and what? The Nashville Council rejects the biggest singer in the world, this sign, because of his, quote, harmful actions. Dude, there is no power in yes. There's only power in no. That's why you got to stop these people at every single turn. Hey, leaving today, again, it was Memorial Day. I just want to thank you all out there, especially the families and those who've lost people in combat, lost people overseas in foreign theaters. I just want you to know that when I think of you guys, I think of what happened with my uncle. And my uncle was lost. My grandmother was never the same. I never met him. I'm not going to claim to know how you feel because I don't. And I don't want to. That's a pain I don't want to feel. But when my uncle was killed in Vietnam, my grandmother was never the same, ever. There was pre-Greg and there was post-Greg. And he was a real hero. So on this Memorial Day that just passed, just want you to remember, teach your kids to love this country. It's a great op-ed actually in the Wall Street Journal this week about just that. Teach your kids to love this country and teach your kids about the heroes who let them do what they want to do now, that this country is free and is still the greatest constitutional republic in the history of man because of people like that. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I really appreciate it. I'll see you on the radio show here. Someone asked me how you can see all 3 hours of the radio show if you want to watch the show on Rumble. You have to be a local subscriber for all 3 hours. The first 2 hours, however, are free on this page here. Just type in rumble.com/Bongino and noon. Guy puts the radio show right there on top. You just click on it. Radio's up in the chat. All you got to do is hit radio. You'll go right there. See you on the radio show in a few minutes and back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thanks for tuning in.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show.